it at the bottom of the cedar chest, the only piece of us I hadn't laid to rest. Your blue eyes are turning into a shade of gray, like the sun is finally setting on our yesterday. The edges are curling, the paper is thin. Where does the memory end and a ghost begin? I'm tracing your jawline with a shaking hand, watching my castle turn back into sand. The colors are bleeding away. It's just a faded photograph, a chemical ghost, the version of you that I love the most. I'm reaching for a face that I can't quite see, losing the outline of you and me. If the second goodbye, the one in my head, watching you guard turn into lead. I remember the day that this picture was born, before the promises were tattered and torn. You were laughing at something I'd whispered solo, but the audio is gone and the rhythm is slow. Now you're just a blur in a sepia frame, a cinematic memory with no one to blame. It's just a faded photograph, a chemical ghost, forgetting what I miss the most. Losing the I've tried to paint the walls of this room to hide all the shadows that started to bloom. I moved the furniture, I changed the light, but the silence still finds me in the middle of the night. You're a stain on the floorboards, a ghost in the air. I look at the empty and I see you there. I've washed every sweater, I've left every door, but I can't stop the madness from hitting the floor. It's a weight I can't carry. Oh, it's a memory that refuses to fade, a cinematic debt that I never quite paid. You're the echo in the hallway, the ink on the page, a bird that won't leave its beautiful cage. I'm reaching for the now, but I'm caught in the then, waiting for the end to happen again. I find your laugh in the sound of the rain, a silver needle, a beautiful pain. The calendar's turned, the year has gone gray, the joy just as vivid as the first yesterday. I try to forget the way you said my name, but the audio's wound and losing the game. Oh, it's a memory that refuses to fade, a cinematic debt that I never quite paid. You're the echo in the hallway, the ink on the page, a bird that won't leave its beautiful cage. I'm reaching for the now, but I'm caught in the then, waiting for the end to happen again. Faded to the white, I'm tired of seeing you in the morning light. I want the amnesia, I want the crease slate. I'm tired of the white, and it's permanent weight. I'm running down a street where the lights have all died, with a hollowed out heart and a ghost by my side. I'm calling your name into the mouth of the wind, but the story is over before it begins. I'm reaching for shadows, I'm reaching for air, trying to find a version of us that's still there. My lungs are on fire, but the ground is like ice. I'm paying the debt and I'm paying it twice. The race is already won, and I'm chasing a love that already ended, picking up pieces that can't be mended. I'm miles behind a heart that's gone cold, chasing a promise that's already old. I'm a runner in the dark, I'm a bird in a cage, still reading the lines on a finished page. I passed the finish line a long time ago, but I'm terrified of the things that I know. That you're already home and you're already asleep, while I'm out in the static and the secrets I keep. I'm a footnote you deleted, a song you don't play, but I'm still on the track from the yesterday. And I'm chasing a love that already ended, picking up pieces that can't be mended. I'm miles behind a heart that's gone cold, chasing a promise that's already old. I'm a runner in the dark, I'm a bird in a cage, still reading the lines on a finished page. Stop my feet, make me go still. I'm fighting a ghost with a broken will. I know you're not there, I know that you're gone, but I don't know how to stop the carry on. Chasing the chasing still running, still running. Goodbye. Still running, already ended. I'm walking barefoot across the kitchen floor, past the shadow of the girl I was before. The light is hitting the dust in a specific way, highlighting the wreckage of our yesterday. There's a silence here that feels like a physical weight, pressing down the things we left to fade. I reach for the air, but I'm catching the cold, tracing the edges of a story that we never told. And I'm picking up the fragments of our broken promise, trying to find the parts of us that were ever honest. Jagged edges, silver lines, cutting through the dark. I'm holding on to embers from a dead and buried spark. It's a beautiful mess, it's a just fragments of our broken promise. I'm losing the part of me that was ever honest. Jagged edges, silver lights, goodbye. Pieces written. I'm reaching for the dial with a shaking hand, in a car that's going nowhere, in a gray and lonely land. The first three notes are a silver knife, cutting through the static of my hollowed out life. I used to love the bridge, I used to love the rhyme. Now it's just a marker for a different kind of time. The speakers are crying, the treble is thin, and I don't know where to let the silence begin. It's a beautiful kind of torture. Oh, it's the songs that remind me of us, turning all the gold back into the dust. A melody that tastes like the salt in my tears, a rhythm that echoes through the empty years. I'm drowning in the lyrics, I'm haunted by the keys, at the mercy of the music. On my knees, I find that old playlist at the bottom of the screen, a digital graveyard of what we could have been. Track 4 was the summer, track 7 was the fall. Now it's just the noise of a ghost in the hall. I try to sing along, but the words are too heavy, like a river breaking through a broken levee. Oh, it's the songs that remind me of us, turning all the gold back into the dust. A melody that tastes like the salt in my tears, a rhythm that echoes through the empty years. I'm drowning in the lyrics, I'm haunted by the keys, at the mercy of the music. On my knees, and turn it off, pull the plug, kill the sound. I'm tired of the ghosts that are gathered around. I don't wanna hear it, I don't want to stay. I just want the harmony to drift away. Homes that remind me of us, the only promises that didn't hold their trust. I'm drowning in the lyrics, I'm losing the keys. Goodbye songs remind me. I'm looking at the sun through a cracked window pane, trying to remember the gold before the rain. Your skin was the color of a late July afternoon, back when we thought the night wouldn't come so soon. Now the indigo is heavy and the embers turn to lead, and I'm painting all the stays that I never actually said. our final lights burning out, and the color of our last summer is fading. The cinematic ghost of the games we were playing. It was honey on the water, it was fire in the sky. Now it's just the shade of a long and cold goodbye. I'm reaching for the warmth, but I'm catching the gray, the color of our summer. Just drifted away. I find the sand at the bottom of my winter coat, a tiny grit-filled memory of a life that's afloat. The ocean was a sapphire, the air was a soft peach. Now I'm just a shadow on an empty frozen beach. I try to hold the saturation, try to keep the glow, but the winter is the only thing I truly know. And the color of our last summer is fading. The cinematic ghost of the games we were playing. It was honey on the water, it was fire in the sky. Now it's just the shade of a long and cold goodbye. I'm reaching for the warmth, but I'm catching the gray, the color of our summer. Just drifted away. Turn up the vibrance, bring back the heat. I'm tired of the cold and the sound of the sleet. I want the overexposed, I want the sunblind. Leave the hollow winter completely the color of our last summer is white, the ghost of the morning. Honey on the water, fire in the sky. Leave high, overexposed, bleed you. Didn't even start. I was already counting the days we'd spend before I knew how quickly the road would bend. I had the map spread out on the floor, watching the shadows gather at the door. I was learning the rhythm of your heartbeat sound before the gravity pulled us both to the ground. The ink was wet, the page was still white, but someone extinguished the morning light. The prologue was all we had, and it's the end. finish line before the race started spinning. A beautiful ghost of a life we didn't live, with all the I love yous I didn't get to give. We're a closed book with an empty spine. The end of a story that was never mine. I see our faces in the steam on the glass, watching the ghosts of our someday past. I remember the look of the almost in your eyes, the cinematic colors of our stolen skies. Now I'm mourning a memory that hasn't occurred, a poem that died before the first word. And it's the end before the beginning, the finish line before the race started spinning. A beautiful ghost of a life we didn't live, with all the I love yous I didn't get to give. We're a closed book with an empty spine. The end of a story that was never mine. Give me a chapter, give me a line, show me the version where you are still mine. I'm tired of the silence, I'm tired of the no. I wasn't ready to let the dream go. The end before the beginning, watching the world stop its spinning. We're a closed book, and the ink is gone. Never began so quiet. The green paint is peeling, showing the gray, like the color is tired of the light of the day. I'm sitting on the edge on the left-hand side, leaving room for the ghost with nowhere to hide. I remember the summer, the heat on the wood, back when forever was still understood. I'm tracing the J and the M in the gray, a shallow little scar in the path of the rain. The wood is freezing now. At the park bench where we started, I'm the only one left broken hearted. The park is so quiet, the sky is so wide, watching the memory of us collide. I'm holding the air where your hand used to be. At the park bench. It's where the best part of me departed. I'm holding the air, but the air is just cold. Goodbye. Watch you pack the last of the blue ceramic plates, watching the tragedy as it finally translates. I had the words like heavy stones beneath my tongue, 1,000 dawn ghosts that I never quite sung. I let the quiet sit between us like a frozen sea, until the distance was the only thing left of me. I just let you go. I watch you standing by the heavy wooden door, waiting for a reason to stay just a minute more. The words were in my lungs, but they never made it out. I was paralyzed by the quiet and the doubt. I saw the light in your eyes start to flicker and fade, while I stood like a statue in the shadow I made. The air was thin, the silence was a war, and I just stood there watching the forever fall. I didn't move a muscle, and all the time I didn't fight for you is the ghost that I'm always talking to. I held the white flag when I should have held your hand, watching our castle turn back into sand. It's the silence that kills me, the surrender I chose, the time I didn't fight is the time the magic froze. I remember the way the floorboards felt beneath my feet as I watched your silhouette retreat down the street. I could have run, I could have screamed your name, but I stayed in the kitchen and I accepted the blame. I thought that letting go was the brave thing to do, but I was just a coward who was terrified of you. And all the time I didn't fight for you is the ghost that I'm always talking to. I held the white flag when I should have held your hand, watching our castle turn back into sand. It's the silence that kills me, the surrender I chose, the time I didn't fight is the time the magic falls. Break the stillness, tear down the gate. I'm screaming at a version of me that's already too late. Why didn't I move? Why didn't I try? I just watched the best part of my life wave goodbye. Wave goodbye. The time I didn't fight for you is the only thing that I can undo. I held the white flag and I let you go. Now I know I didn't fight so I'm looking in the mirror at the girl you used to love, searching for the light that we were so certain of. But my eyes are just a map of the places we have been, to hollowed out windows where the winter settled in. I remember how you'd find me in a crowded, noisy room, a single beam of sunlight in a beautiful dark gloom. The air was cold, the world was small, and you were the anchor that kept me through it all. Now the gravity is gone, and I'm haunted by the way you used to look at me, like I was the only thing you would ever want to see. A cinematic focus, so warm and silver glow before the fire turned to ice and the rhythm turned to slow. Now you look right through me, like I'm made of glass, watching all the magic and the centuries pass. Yesterday I saw you, and your eyes were just a door that led to a room that I don't live in anymore. There was no recognition, no. I'm glad you're finally here. Just a cold and polite distance and a different kind of fear. I'm a landscape you forgot, and I'm a movie you don't play, a flicker of a shadow from a long and better day. And I'm haunted by the way you used to look at me, like I was the only thing you'd ever want to see. A cinematic focus, so warm and silver glow before the fire turned to ice and the rhythm turned to slow. Now you look right through me, like I'm made of glass, watching all the magic and the centuries pass. Break the glass, see me again. I'm tired of being the who and the when. Just for 1 second, just for one frame. Look at me once, like you're whispering my name. The way you used to look at me, it's the only version of me I still want to be. A cinematic focus, a warm and silver glow. Goodbye. I see you, but you don't see me. I saw you standing by the garden gate. The air was heavy with the hand of fate. I had 1,000 sentences lined up in my head, elaborate things that should have been said, but my throat turned to mercury, thick and cold. And the greatest story remained untold. I watched your shadow pull away from mine. They're the words I left unspoken, the ghosts in the hall, the I love yous that I never let fall. They're a mountain of sorries and a river of stay that I tucked in my pocket and carried away. I'm a locked up book, I'm a heart that's broken by the heavy weight of the words I left unspoken. I say them to the ceiling when the lights go out, a desperate whisper that sounds like a shout. I practice the wait and I practice the white in the empty theater of a midnight sky. But the ink has dried and the paper is torn. Who's quiet and warm? They're the words I left unspoken, the ghosts in the hall, the I love yous that I never let fall. They're a mountain of sorries and a river of stay that I tucked in my pocket and carried away. I'm a locked up book, I'm a heart that's broken by the heavy weight of the words I left unspoken. Listen to the quiet, can you hear the scream of the life we lost to a silent dream? I should have said please, I should have said no, but I didn't know when, and I didn't know how. Are the words I left unspoken, the only promises that were never broken? I'm a locked up book, and the ink is gone, unspoken. Still here, unspoken. I still see your shadow in the grocery store, in the clothes sign swinging on the coffee shop door. I find your name in the books I don't read, a phantom version of the life that I need. I'm walking in circles, I'm chasing the sun, trying to undo what's already been done. The distance is a mountain, the silence is a sea, and you're the only version of the girl I used to be. This is to the one. Who got away to the light that wouldn't choose This is to the one who got away, to the light that wouldn't choose to stay. You're the almost, you're the maybe, you're the not quite yet. A cinematic portrait of a permanent regret. I'm reaching for the horizon, but it's turning to gray. To the one who got away. Come back to the beginning, let the world restart. I'm tired of the vacuum in the middle of my heart. I'd trade all the futures, I'd trade all the years, just to drown in the ocean of your beautiful who got away. I'm still living in the yesterday. You're the light that wouldn't say goodbye. That away, away, away. I'm tracing the cracks in the pavement we knew, where the weeds are growing in the space between two. The corner store still has a flickering sign, but it's missing the shadow that used to be mine. I pass by the window of the place where we'd eat, and I'm just a ghost on a very loud street. Every street light is a spotlight on a memory, watching the versions of who we used to be. The air is freezing now, and I'm walking through our old neighborhood, looking for a version of us that was good. But the houses are different and the colors are gray, and the forever we promised just drifted away. I'm a stranger in a land that I once understood, walking through our old neighborhood. The bus stop is empty, the park bench is cold. The stories we whispered are getting so old. I see your face in the steam on the glass, watching the ghosts of our someday past. I'm checking my phone for a ghost of a text, terrified of the corner and what's coming next. And I'm walking through our old neighborhood, looking for a version of us that was good. But the houses are different I'm standing on the roof where we used to count the stars, tracing the constellations and the permanent scars. But the blue has turned to charcoal and the silver's turned to lead, like the universe is mourned every word we never said. The horizon is a jagged line, a broken piece of glass, watching all the colors of our forever past. I'm reaching for a flicker, but the darkness is too deep. A promise made for a heart that I couldn't keep. And I'm wishing on a faded sky, asking all the empty hours in the hollow eyes, searching for a spark in a world that's gone cold, for a story that was finished before it was told. It's a silent prayer, it's a jagged sigh, just wishing on a faded sky. I remember when the twilight used to feel like a kiss. Now it's just a vacuum and a cold expanding abyss. I close my eyes to see the purple and the gold, but the memory is brittle and the memory is old. I'm talking to the clouds, but they don't have a voice to tell me if the leaving was even your choice. And I'm wishing on a faded sky, asking all the empty hours in the hollow eyes, searching for a spark in a world that's gone cold, for a story that was finished before it was told. It's a silent prayer, it's a jagged sigh, just wishing on a faded sky. I beg the light, tear down the gray. I'm tired of the ghosts at the end of the day. I trade the moon for a single word. I'm screaming at a heaven that has never even wishing on a faded sky, watching the last of the magic die, searching for a spark, but it's only the dark, just wishing. I'm looking at the Polaroids taped to the wall, watching the colors start to stumble and fall. Your blue eyes are turning to a shade of gray, like the sun is finally setting on our yesterday. I try to trace the lines of your silhouette, but the harder I pull, the more I forget. The edges are fraying, the focus is gone. I'm left in the static of a silent dawn. The picture is bleaching, faded memories I found your old sweater at the back of the shelf. It doesn't smell like home anymore, just like itself.